What I mean by it is that there is no inner and outer. If there is, everything is inner. Hi everyone, welcome to Mindful Adventures. The first question. All day I am suffering, brother. Thinking. I don't have any self-control, not even enough to meditate, even though it could help. Recently, you gave me a remedy, but it disappeared shortly after, and the suffering returned. I want it back. Again. All day I'm suffering, brother. Thinking. I don't have any self-control, not even enough to meditate, even though it could help. Recently you gave me a remedy, but it disappeared shortly after, and the suffering returned. I want it back. Yes, I remember the day that we met and you had this beautiful experience, a glimpse of what some may call the clear sky. And shortly after, you were concerned about maintaining the sense of clarity, having control over the emptiness that was perceived through and through. And I advised not to be concerned about control, maintaining, or fixating on that moment. And if you recall, that moment arose when there was no control, no maintenance, non-doing. And so all day suffering, thinking. And the remedy disappeared and the suffering returned. Emptiness does not disappear. And it's not that the suffering returned, it is the suffering one that got a hold of your attention. So you have to inquire. I perceived the diamond, and I traded it for the suffering one. Why did I do that? And identifying with the suffering one, which also appeared or appears from the emptiness and subsides back to the source, the remedy that you mentioned disappeared. It cannot disappear. The question is, what appeared? The suffering one. And the suffering one is thinking. Confusion. The meditation will arise naturally on its own in letting go of control. You say in your question that you don't have any self-control. Let go of all control, and meditation will arise. From what I can recall, it was the sense of being a controller which gave rise to the suffering one in the first place. Joys come and go. Suffering comes and goes. And letting go of this or that, and your identification with this or that, the remedy is perceived directly, and it requires no doing whatsoever. So if you rushed to become a doer, a controller, then naturally this issue would arise. Meditation, stillness, silence, no control. And a subtle feeling of fear or anxiety, it may not really be that subtle, but if it's there with the idea of non-doing, no control, release, then bring that into the meditation also. Sit with it. Observe. See from where these feelings, thoughts, and the suffering one arises and returns to. And you see that the remedy has never disappeared. It is just something appeared to grab your attention. Inquire into that one. I'm just going to share a short bit from the Prophet, Khalil Gibran. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, no, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep in your bed. Verily, you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and joy. Only when you are empty are you at standstill and balanced. Only when you are empty are you at standstill and balanced. Also, you say, I don't have any self-control, not even enough to meditate, even though it could help. How do you know that it can help unless you are meditating? Drop control, and meditation arises. And there is no going back. You want it back, but you cannot have it back. That moment came and went. And wanting it back means that it's not here now. Again, it didn't disappear. The suffering one appeared, and in clinging to that one, identifying with that one, and rushing to do, control, and fix to get rid of the suffering one, the suffering, the thinking, appears to be superimposing that which you perceived in the remedy. I understand that when there's a frenzy and the suffering and the thinking seems to increase or appears to be increasing, and naturally you don't want to suffer, so anything and everything that can be done to escape will naturally come up for you. But be still. That which is illusory moves. And as you have already tasted and seen for yourself, you are never moving. And I don't want to give methods, too many concepts, doership. The doership and the identification with the doer is what got you in this mess in the first place. However, there is one thing. Sit in front of a blank wall, look straight ahead, and allow the dust to settle. Once the dust has settled, the dust allow yourself to fall into that clarity. If an idea arises, to maintain it, to have it, it's okay. Just remain still, poised, looking straight ahead. And remember, you can't have it. You are it. And please, be in touch. The next question. In one of your satsangs, you said there's no such thing as inner peace. I was shocked and confused by this statement. For a moment, I thought you had lost it. But then later, I sat and thought on it some more, and I'd really like to understand. What do you mean by that? Again, in one of your satsangs, you said there's no such thing as inner peace. I was a bit shocked and confused by this statement. For a moment, I thought you had lost it, but then later, I sat and thought on it some more, and I'd really like to understand. What do you mean by that? What I mean by it is that there is no inner and outer. If there is, everything is inner. So inner peace is redundant. Inner peace gives the illusion that there is something out there that can bring happiness, something from the outside that can destroy the peace. Inner peace implies that there's outer, just like higher self implies that there is lower. There is no higher and lower. Everything is what it is. And everything is inner. So why inner peace? I understand the difficulty in this. I can see by your question that the way that I put it may have been a little bit direct. What do I mean when I say there is no inner peace? When one has inner peace, this is a good litmus test to see if they really have inner peace. With inner peace, if out there, what we call out there, there's a war, is the inner peace still inner peace? Or let's say the opposite. Let's say if all hell is breaking loose, inner war, inner conflict, and out there, there's peace and bliss. Are you happy, rejoicing? And if there's a difference in the response, when you inquire with this, there's a difference in these two situations, then that's not inner peace. Peace is peace, and everything's inner in the first place. So just call it peace. Not my inner peace. My inner peace. Even the way it sounds, just possessive, greedy. I have my inner peace. No, there is no inner. There is no outer. It's just peace. And again, everything is inner in the first place. The body is inner, the mind is inner. Sun, moon, stars, trees, rainbow, ocean, sea, birds, home, floor, sight, sound, taste, touch, being, non-being, sitting, standing, walking, talking, floating, sharing, is inner. So that's what I mean when I say there is no inner peace. It's just peace. It's best not to get caught in psychoanalysis or too much investigation. It can be helpful. In using tools to go deeper into self-knowing. And I see that you are trying to understand. Otherwise, you wouldn't have asked the question. And I do appreciate your honesty in how you asked it. But just go within. See. Is there peace? If there's no peace, that's okay too. Nothing is wrong in it. No judgment. And in stillness, silence, see what is here. Allow yourself to absorb. The awareness is absorbing every perception, the sounds, the sensations, the entire play. As it absorbs, it still remains untouched. I know it sounds strange, but this is a strange place. Allow the awareness to absorb in sitting silently with stillness, absorbing anything and everything that arises in the perception, and yet the awareness is untouched. And yes, I could say that you are awareness. Saying the awareness may be not the most accurate way of putting it. But I'm just pointing. Just pointing. The words are just pointers. So sit, see for yourself. Awareness is all-inclusive, yet it remains untouched by that which is included. Just like the light does not discriminate, between whatever it shines upon, so too awareness. Everything is inner. Just before Ninakawa passed away, the Zen master Ikkyu visited him. "Shall I lead you on?" Ikkyu asked. Ninakawa replied, "I came here alone, and I go alone. What help could you be to me?" Ikkyu answered, "If you think you really come and go, that is your delusion. Let me show you the path on which there is no coming and no going." With his words, Ikkyu had revealed the path so clearly that Ninakawa smiled and passed away. May all beings abide in peace and happiness. Om Shanti Shanti. Namaste.